Today, I want to talk a little bit about something that I call defecting into abundance. So, anyone who knows me knows I'm an optimistic futurist. I'm someone who believes that technology, particularly AI and robotics, will lead to a fantastic future for all of humanity. But the usual responses I hear to that point of view are some flavor of dystopian bullshit. The rich won't share, AI will kill us all, and some stupid variation or combination of the above. I get it. You've spent a lifetime imbibing sci-fi that paints that picture, and I guess maybe you've forgotten or never even realized that fiction is dramatic for the purpose of storytelling, not always, often not at all, because that's the way things play out in reality. So, in every dramatic story, you need a villain. It's very easy to make that villain some nebulous deus ex machina. So, there you have it. Things like Terminator and HAL and all the other shit that people like to point to and be like, it's gonna kill us. It's stupid. I don't like any of that. Now, while I am an unabashed optimist, I'm also very much a pragmatic realist. I don't for one second think that we're going to have an epic future because the rich suddenly decide to be altruistic. In fact, I think we'll actually have an awesome future in part because the rich are greedy fucks. In game theoretic terms, defection pays. Now, from my perspective, here's how this plays out. Companies will use AI and robots to gain a competitive advantage. They already are. They're not going to stop. With the advantages of automation, costs fall and margins rise. Using these tools grants a competitive advantage, so people who like to win will use them to secure an advantage while the adoption from their competitors is inconsistent. Makes sense. Business 101. Do what you can to improve your margins and beat your competitors. It's already happening. Two, as automation is integrated, certain types of jobs will go away. It starts with job duties, and then it moves to whole jobs. There are a lot of people who argue for and against this, but I'm absolutely positive that it's going to result in entire jobs going away. I've already seen it happen in some narrow roles, but it's going to become more and more common. Now, this is already happening, especially with junior roles, but sure, some people may retrain or focus on adjacent work. Maybe just the scope of their job will change a little bit. Short term. But things are moving so fast that the lump of labor fallacy, which people like to point to so often in regards to AI, may finally no longer be a fallacy. Granted, not that there won't be new jobs, not that we're not going to suddenly stop coming up with new things to build and new ways to do things. It's just that why would you have a human do that if you can get an AI or a robot to do it faster, better, safer, cheaper? So, as automation spreads, buying power softens as jobs are lost. Now, to keep market share, businesses are going to have to drop their prices. That's great. Automation makes that really palatable. They've already improved their margins. They might be able to drop their prices and still maintain higher margins than they had before. So, a lot of companies won't mind. The ones that mind will have to do it anyway, though. So, yes, margins may have to shrink, but it's going to be that or fold to competitors who do it. And someone will do it. In game theoretic terms, that means someone will defect. So, everyone will have to. Free markets for the win. Now, the rivals are going to copy. The inputs will cheapen, costs will slide more. You can see this feedback loop playing out, right? We've seen this in many areas in the past. TVs are a really good example. Big screen TV used to cost thousands and thousands of dollars in current dollars. And now you can get like an enormous TV for a couple $100, if that. It's wild. This is what we could see in every area if we allow free markets to just operate like they're supposed to, especially where we use automation to bring down costs, which is what's happened with TVs. Finally, as the machines get better and better and absorb most, if not all, of the old for money work, the basics, because of this automation, drift toward near zero marginal cost. People get to spend time on what they want and not on what keeps the lights on. Now, this is really high level and simplified, but from both an economic perspective and a game theoretic one, it makes sense, and to me seems almost inevitable. Now, yes, automation, AI, robotics, like initially new jobs are going to arise, and some new industries will definitely arise thanks to those unlocks. But that G in AGI, that general, A general purpose AI, especially embodied in robotics, that means that all work is in theory automatable. If a human can do it, an AI plus a robot will eventually be able to do it. This is just a matter of time and probably not a really long time horizon. I mean, if we look at all of the, oh, AI won't be able to do that dominoes that have fallen in just the last few years, I think it's safe to say that we're going to see this happen this decade. That doesn't mean that AI and robots will take all the jobs this decade, but I really do think they'll be capable of doing it this decade. And that's a huge thing. But that's the slope. So defecting to abundance, it's this process of you integrate the tools to gain an advantage. As you gain an advantage, certain jobs go away. As jobs go away, buying power decreases. You gain this advantage in terms of production costs and margins, so you can lower your prices. Competitors will continue doing this, and so you're going to have this feedback loop, this cycle where prices go down, buying power goes down, automation makes it cheaper and cheaper to produce, and it's the best kind of slippery slope. Now, in theory, could you stop this? Sure. If you had a complete global monopoly hegemony where you had full control over all economic inputs and outputs. Nobody has that. Nobody has anything even remotely close to that. And all it takes in game theoretic terms is a single defector. The moment one person decides not to play by those rules and use these things to their advantage, that's it. Everybody else has to follow, otherwise they lose. So let's all slow down. Let's put a stop to this, like pure theater. It's absolutely never going to happen, and nor should it. There are so many advantages to humanity in adopting these technologies. We shouldn't stop. It's better. We're all going to end up better off precisely because of these things. Now, in real markets, the dominant move is defect automation. One defector undercuts the rest, and the rest either follow or they bleed out. It's going to happen. It's the prisoner's dilemma without guards. Incentives are going to do the hurting. So now you just stack the loops. AI eats energy, right? So we build more energy, a lot of it, fast. AI helps with siting and control and maintenance and dispatch. It brings the costs down. Hell, AI is also helping to make fusion a reality, and it's being used to improve photovoltaics, battery tech, a ton of other things. So AI is going to help us and help itself. Cheaper power, better AI. Better AI helps us find cheaper power. Round and round we go. Compute rides the same wheel. AI helps design chips, tunes yields, engineers new algorithms, generates synthetic data, runs fabs. More compute, better AI, better tools, more compute. Around and around we go. So the cost per AI query or task is already dirt cheap in a lot of cases and getting cheaper at just a crazy rate. Like the stuff that AI can do per unit of compute is radically better today than it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This is fantastic. And that's not even looking at robotics specifically. So finally, after a very, very long time, robotics are beginning to accelerate as rapidly or almost as rapidly as AI is. And thanks in part to advances in AI, which are helping. So general models plus synthetic data plus virtual training environments hand robots these broad skills. It's not perfect yet, but it's getting better really quick. And as these different advances in different areas stack up, they enable compounding, emergent things thanks to these unlocks in capabilities. So, thanks to all of these things, as capabilities improve, production on robots are going to climb, components are going to cheapen, adoption will rise. Thanks to all of this, IP rents fade into the background. We're going to see open models, more fair use readings from copyright, cross border copying, fast redesign. Enforcement is slow and local. Governments aren't set up to deal with things that operate and move this fast, so good luck. But once one actor defects, others have to. Software and designs are going to drift toward distribution cost, which is basically zero. Materials stop being a hard cap once the loop closes. Assume orders of magnitude gains in recycling. Combination of robotics and vision. Vision will find stuff, robotics pulls it apart, chemistry cleans it, AI control keeps the quality high. Do that repeatedly, and the need for net new raw materials shrinks to a rounding error in many areas. Mining becomes a buffer for growth and mistakes, not the base. The winning design is the thing that comes apart quickly and returns to you without friction. Cheap energy also defeats water scarcity. So desalination becomes more feasible as energy costs decline. Lower power prices, the energy price of a cubic meter of clean water is pennies. The rest is pipe, pumps, brine, and automation and scale grind those down as well. Coastal and many inland regions can just build, and others will copy when their citizens and businesses threaten to leave. So if you put it all together, most prices converge towards three inputs: energy, compute, raw resources. And I've actually been arguing on Twitter for a while that GDP is going to have to go away and should probably be replaced with something like GDE and GDC for energy and compute. When materials are easily recycled and water is abundant, the bill of material just collapses to those three things: energy, compute, raw resources. So competition passes the savings on to the consumer, whether owners want to or not, simply because of free markets and defection. Cat's out of the bag, genie's out of the bottle. Software heavy stuff obviously is going to go first. I think we're already seeing that. Physical goods and services will follow as robotics spread. I don't think any job will be safe, but if we play our cards right, jobs probably won't be necessary. Now, there are potential points of friction. Electrical transmission lines and big electrical hardware currently have large lead times. A few chip tools or fabs are bottlenecks and will be for a while. The whole ASML TSMC stack is a pretty precarious single or dual point of failure. Local land rules could potentially keep housing expensive if steps aren't taken to neuter the NIMBY twats, but we aren't limited to surface land or really even this planet. With populations shrinking, I guess we have options. Certain platforms could hold prices above cost for a time at least, but not for long. Physics, of course, never gives you truly zero loss, so we can't get to zero cost, but we can get close enough. Capital flows to bottlenecks because the returns are obvious. Jurisdictions that permit faster win, and the rest watch jobs in their tax base walk. Effectively, AI plus robotics should be deflationary. GDP, as I've argued, is going to need to go the way of the dodo. What stays scarce, though, is predictable, right? Singular locations, attention, trust, status by definition, a few irreplaceable neutral assets, but almost everything else drifts towards the cost of energy and compute. Now, there are failure modes, but the window's narrow. So, a permanent geopolitical wall that blocks diffusion. Granted, I don't think this could happen because countries like companies will defect. So, we have the same situation at the geopolitical level that we have at the corporate level. A global ban on frontier AI and robots that actually holds? Yeah, good fucking luck with that. Not going to happen. Same reason as the above. A cartel, maybe, that sits on choke points for decades without being undercut by rivals or technology? I can't think of one that AI isn't going to be able to reverse engineer and undercut and bypass, but hey, maybe it exists. Or maybe physics refuses to yield workable energy scale and high purity recycling, but that is exceptionally unlikely from what I'm seeing. So, as far as I can tell, as AI gets better and energy becomes cheap, materials loop, water's abundant, robots are competent, the rest is just math. Copying is safer than resisting. So Pandora's box will be opened in a good way, for fuck's sake, piss off doomers. Prices fall because competition makes them fall. It's a gold rush, maybe the last true gold rush, and we're all going to get richer lives because of it, even as money becomes obsolete, hopefully. And thus, defection pays. The system slides towards abundance, whether anyone approves or not, because game theory, motherfuckers. Anyway, peace out.